Good morning, good afternoon, and evening, baseball fans. Welcome back to the Barstool Baseball Show. This is Monday. This is the Power Ranking panel. I'm joined by a collection of experts at Barstool Sports. Chris Castellani, slick back hair. Eric Hubbs on the rooftop. And Klemmer, you look as depressed as you've ever seen. You look as beaten, broken, bashed, as bad as I've ever seen you. Is it because Scherzer left or you can't win a fucking bet?
I won today, motherfucker. What was that? Before the show. Is that the new slogan for the show? No, I'm doing all right. No, I'm actually happy about the Scherzer thing. It's a great deal for the Mets. It's absolutely the kind of moves they should be making. They should be selling everything on. It's on the wall right now. You know, Verlander. If you heard his post game comments, he's ready to go. He's got his bags packed. He's tipping the clubby. He's out the door. So Scherzer, Verlander should go. If someone wants him and you get him as top 100 prospects, go. They need to trade Mark Cannon. They need to trade Tommy Pham. They need to trade Brooks Raley. Go, go, go. That's what I want. I want prospects. This season's a bust. They're 50 and 55. The season's over. So if we're going to give us top 100 prospects or anything at all, really, let's go. Everything must go.
My quick reaction to this is I love how much faster Mets fans react to the need to rebuild than, say, I don't know, a Yankees fan would. If you guys were 50 and 55, you'd be asking for every trade in the books. Am I wrong, Hubs?
No. I would have been like, sell. Absolutely. I would have been in the same spot. I am not in that position. They're barely at the point right now where I want them to buy, but what they did Saturday, I'm like, all right, sure, I'll entertain it. They're not going to get anything crazy, but if I were in Klemmer's position, I would be in the exact same spot. I like what they did with the Scherzer trade to get Luis Angel back. They had to eat a ton of money, but that's what Cohen's for. Pretty good job. And I don't know, people were bugging about the David Robertson trade. I feel like they did as best they could there too. So maybe it's just tech. But I think they did fine. It is funny though, just because you have a new owner doesn't rub the Mets stink off of you. You're still. It's still. That's people thought Verlander and Scherzer. People thought Verlander and Scherzer it was going to change the whole game, and now they're both going to be gone. And the highest payroll in baseball is going to be nothing by August 1st.
Yeah, it didn't work. I mean, it's a bad season. It doesn't work. But the idea that it's somehow Cohen's fault is just
no. But it's not the idea that it's Cohen's fault. It's not Cohen's fault. It's not Cohen's fault.
27 rings. Count them bullshit.
I don't do that. It's not Cohen's fault. I didn't say it's Cohen's fault. I said it's Mets fans have this idea that a new owner would change all that in a heartbeat. It takes a lot more than that. It takes people that know how to make moves the right way. Epler stinks. Get him gone.
He will be gone.
The Mets owner did say, Steve Cohen did say 3 to 5 years they'd win a World Series. One of the dumbest takes I think anybody in sports could really hang their hat on. That's such a bad take. I hate to go. When Theo got hired by the Cubs, he said, all we can do is try and win the Central, get to the playoffs, and be hot, and we're interested in that and making sure we can do that as many years in a row as we can.
That's not fair, Carl. You're comparing an owner to a GM. Theo's savvy. By the time he got to the Cubs, he'd been a GM with the Red Sox for a decade. Cohen's new to this, especially then he was brand new to this. That's just not how it goes. Cohen, I think he even admitted it. He's like, I wish I never said that. So we all say stupid shit. That's not that bad. I don't blame Cohen at all. Epler does stink. Stearns going to be in charge in 2 months. Let's get everything we can for all these kind of raggedy-ass pieces. Remember, too, they traded Eduardo Escobar, about a month or so ago, and we got a nice return there, too. We're putting this farm system was atrocious. We're getting some building blocks in there. I just wish we had some pitching prospects, but maybe that'll come with the Verlander deal.
We'll see. The Verlander deal is inbound, it sounds like. And if you're going to sell, go full sell. We're also joined by Castellani. You were not involved in this week's Friday American League show because you did the Team Full 30 pre-trade deadline preview show with me. So I'm interested in your lead take on Ohtani news. Was there a load in your pants, good or bad load, when this news dropped? Well, hold on, Klemmer, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet on YouTube, a good load would be woke up, when's the last time you had a wet dream, Klemmer? That's a good load.
We're talking probably the 90s, I think, right? You got to go way back. So a good
now,
load,
but if I cut a wet fart, and I thought that would be a good fart, that would be a bad load. So, did you shit your pants or did you blow your load? Is it a good or bad load? Is the segment? Ohtani gets traded. Castellani, you see it for the first time. Good or bad load?
Wait, well, you mean when the Giolito trade? Or are you saying if they trade?
Yes, they're not going to trade Ohtani, and they keep.
I laughed because this is the baseball gods are going to end up being so incredibly unkind as they should be to the Los Angeles Angels. This is going to blow up insanely in their face. I mean, this is not going to work. One thing that's gotten lost in all of this is Lucas Giolito ain't that fucking good. He's a 3 starter, and they cut 2 of their top 3 prospects to get him and Ronaldo Lopez, who's got nasty stuff, but he's inconsistent. Their ceiling is an 85 win wildcard team, and next year with their farm system depleted, with no Ohtani and Trout, who's going to be walking on a wooden leg at this point next year, they're going to be a 100-loss team, and they're going to be as far away from championship contention a year from now at this point as the fucking Royals are. So, oops. I think that they are remarkably screwed over. So I feel bad for Ohtani because I feel like baseball this whole thing would have been so much more interesting if they would have shipped him. We're gonna have maybe the most transcendent MVP season of all time on it, and not to mention he's injured too, and he's playing through it every fucking day. So I feel bad for him. But I just it is the most desperate move I think I've ever seen by a mediocre baseball team. It would be like if the Mets added, like to bring it back, like if they said fuck it, like keep Scherzer and Verlander, let's add to our like you are going nowhere right now.
Close, but no cigar there, pal. I know you slicked the hair back today for the show. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. You're going to notice Castellani looks unbelievable. The hairline's not going anywhere. I would say close, but no cigar there because the Mets have to sell. We are talking about Shohei Ohtani is just a generational. I mean, the fact they announced we're not going to trade you comes out, boom, pops a 1-hit complete game, shutty, then 2 bomb pieces, like probably tears oblique off, clean off the fucking muscle, comes back, plays quickly. Can we agree at least on this? This is where Klemmer and I came in, which I think is a good takeaway, is the Los Angeles Angels have instantly become the most interesting team in baseball, objectively, Hubs.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with Chris. Like it's stupid.
Oh, fuck
it's good for a baseball storyline that like we're not Angels fans, so this doesn't affect us. But like the Angels, and we're gonna watch Ohtani try to just put the entire team on his back the whole way, and maybe that ends in an injury. Which they keep saying it's cramps, but it's probably not cramps. Yeah. But at least they're gonna be like one of the more must-watch teams when they go at it every night because of what's at stake here. Listen, it's pretty stupid. He's going to leave for the Dodgers at the end of the year. But the other day, also, I disagree when you say I feel bad for Ohtani. From all accounts, he wanted to stay in LA for the rest of the year. He didn't want to move and go somewhere else. Now, maybe he's lying. But from all the reports coming around, this is what he wanted the entire way. And they told him the whole way, hey, we're not trading you. It's not going to happen. So I think he wants to see this through. And then when it doesn't work, he'll bounce. And the Angels will be absolutely fucked and left with nothing. But in their mind, hey, at least we went for it, and at least we gave it our all, and we tried our best to convince him that the Angels were trying to contend with him, we're trying to build around you, we're trying to get to the playoffs with you. And like, it's a dumb move. It's going to blow up in their face. Taylor Ward already suffered the consequences of the Angels' curse here by taking a ball in the face the other day.
I mean, you can't do that, Hubs. You cannot start talking about balls of the face.
I hope he's okay. Like, I feel gutted for him. That's why we can't allow Alek Manoah to, like, he's just a dangerous man on the mound. No, it seems like he's out of the hospital, thank God. That was really, really – there wasn't even updates until this morning, so that was really, really scary. The Angels are screwed. But it's a fun storyline, so we're here for that.
It's a fun storyline, yeah.
This is quite a show. We're 9 minutes in. We've got good loads, bad loads, and balls in the face.
Hell yeah.
And you know what, Klemmer? You like it all. So don't even try and like out creep yourself here, man. No one on this panel is above any of the stuff I've talked about.
I'm not arguing. I'm just simply stating facts. Please subscribe on YouTube.
Guys, energy here is great. And Klemmer, that's a great transition. And something I was thinking about today, I was driving over to Ace Hardware, and I thought to myself, we've just got robust representation north of the fucking Mason-Dixon, right? East of the Mississippi, great NL East coverage, great NL West. I shouldn't say NL West. Great NL Central. Like, am I wrong that we're all representing different pillars of the...
Oh, West Coast people will think you're full of shit. But...
Well, West Coast people aren't listening to this, so that's why I don't give a fuck.
Fair point. Yeah.
I get the data reports the same as anybody else. I'll say I think we have our coverage. Like if we were we're like, if we were T-Mobile, like our whole thing is fucking covered. This is the power ranking panel, as you guys know. It's the time of the week where we sit down, we go through the 1 through 9 in Major League Baseball. We offer up our picks and then we round table them. One thing I want to stress for this episode, I would like to get back to like, I'm presenting this pick. What do you guys think? And then getting into our takes, as opposed to like, here's what I got, and then blah blah blah. Like, I want to get into like, I like them. 2, do you guys hate it? Do you guys love it? All right, so let's keep that in mind as we get through this. The batting order is me 1. Did I say Klemmer 2? Hubs 3, Castellani 4. This is easy. All right, so we agree on this. We go into the trade deadline too. Before we get to trade deadline and get into power rankings, we will be live at 4 p.m. Eastern time to talk about the trade deadline this week on Barstool Baseball YouTube. Klemmer,
on Tuesday.
On Tuesday. You're very excited for this.
I'm amped. Let's go. I'm super excited. I was going crazy in the stadium today. I was at the Mets game and like the trades are coming through, and I was jumping around, going all crazy. I love this. This is my favorite thing of the year. I love this. I'm so amped up.
This is our also first time live streaming as a group, and the schedule that we have put together for it. So this is actually pretty cool. If you follow the power ranking panel from when we first started this, we've basically tried to figure out a good weekly piece of programming. Because you should have your local guys that you follow. Like, if you're a Tigers fan, you should be following Castellani for all the Tigers takes and stuff. But there's a chance when you want to come up for national shit. That's how I've seen the Power Rankings panel. So, the fact we're at a point now, we're taking the panel, we're going to stream some coverage around their trade deadline. Congratulations. That's a cool moment. This is cool for us. So, that's Tuesday. That's 4 p.m. Eastern time that starts. Stay tuned for details. All right. Panel. 1 through 9. 1, it's the Braves. They swept the Brewers. I know the Brewers are a great story in the NL Central, all that stuff. It's just a great reminder. I know the Braves dropped two games to the Red Sox early in the week, and we're going to have a chance to talk about the Red Sox later in this show. But right now, number 1 team of baseball is still the Braves. It's a great reminder after losing 2 games in a row to the Boston Red Sox, who are hot, and everybody in Boston saying, hey, so we all agree the Braves won, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. What they just did to the Brewers was they bludgeoned them. I mean,
I don't have to sell you
in
guys.
October, pitching is going to matter. You're going to win close games.
I don't want to fucking sell the audience because, if I don't have to sell you guys, I'm not going to sit here and suck their dick any more than just explaining they did sweep the Milwaukee Brewers this weekend after dropping 2 weird midweek games to the Boston Red Sox. And if someone wanted to come in here and make an argument about the Baltimore Orioles in the number 1 spot, you'd have your eye on the fact that the Braves are playing the Brewers, and all they did is went out and just fucking swept them. So,
can I just say one thing, Carl, though? So they have an 11.5 game lead. They're way ahead in the East, right? If you're them, you're the only team that has such a lead. No other team is that far ahead. Do you consider maybe not making are they going to make a move before Tuesday or not? That's what I'm kind of interested in.
Do they have to? Because all you care about is the 5-game ALDS. So who's your 1, your 2, your 3? That's it. Spencer Strider starting one of those games. Can you get Max Fried back into a position? No, right?
If not, you still have Morton. You still have Elder.
Now you're going to start rattling off names where teams right now are dude. The Reds would be desperate to rattle off, we still have Bryce Elder.
Right.
I will say,
I don't think they're going to make it.
They're in a position, though, to make the whole league go, fuck. If they add while they're in this position, and they're in that position to do that, then you're like what, the Braves are doing that? I'm not saying a Justin Verlander, but just adding something, whether it be a top late inning guy out of the bullpen, a third starter.
David Bednar. David Bednar
would be that would be a fuck. That would be come on. Really? So that's a fun position to be in. They don't have to do anything, like you said, but if they do something, then it's just Jesus Christ. They're already this good, now they're getting better come out while we're all struggling to find one deadline deal here. Here come the Braves. It's just a fun position to be in.
Castellani, is Blake Snell outside of the Braves budget, or do you think he's within reason?
I would say outside, because I don't believe, even though it's a rental, I don't believe the Braves farm system is strong enough where the Padres would entertain the idea of him of shipping him for somebody from their system. But that'd be a kill shot for sure, but I don't see it happening.
And have you seen anything at any point over the last week of baseball or since the second half has really kicked off that would suggest otherwise that the Braves should be anything other than one?
No, the fact that they struggled a little bit for like a week there actually scares me because they're taking their lumps right before the home stretch here, which means they're probably going to get hot again. And we saw what they just did to Milwaukee. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we're comfortable here, Braves. Let's get to 2. Let's because I know the debates are coming at 7, 8, 9, 6, wherever. So
might start right here. So I'm gonna go.
Oh no way!
I'm gonna go with the Rangers at 2.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
That's awful.
Okay. Well, they just added Jordan Montgomery. They just added obviously Max
played
Scherzer.
so bad this week.
I don't care what they. I mean, it's 1 week in a long season. They're setting themselves up. Not only that, but they are in first place. They are, they have a 1.5 game lead over the Astros, and they just added 2 major pieces. I don't think Stratton's a big add in the bullpen. Anything probably helps there, but he's not moving the needle for me. But I love them out in that rotation. I think that Rangers team is scary now.
Agreed.
This is probably what it should be. A little bit too soon. I think we're a little too soon.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think we're a little. I think we're a little too soon saying that
right now.
I wouldn't.
Who is better in the American League? Like who right now looking at that AL you think has a better chance of going to the World Series?
That's not what we're doing here.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. I don't give a fuck what you guys are doing. That's what
you've been doing all year, Klemmer. We're power ranking teams.
That's the issue you run into here, though, and you've done this multiple times. You just got popped with your Twins pick from a week ago, by the way, because you do where you draft you do these when you draft these teams, you do it almost like a week early, and sometimes, and I could see it working for the Rangers here, because like I do love what they're doing at deadline. Fucking going for it. They do not want to get into the wild card round. They want to jump Houston. I think it's great. But at face value, when you look at what they've done the last week or so, they lost that series to Houston, right? If not for Framber Valdez, kind of falling apart there, they would have gotten swept, but they did play a great game there. They have not played well in this series against San Diego. So a week from now, 2 weeks from now, I could see them at 2. But, they've had some opportunities here, man, to really take a hold of this division and haven't. The boogeyman's still hanging around. For what it's worth, I had him at 3. So we're not, we're kind of splitting hairs.
We're only talking about the last week. Then let's put the Cubs 1. What are we doing? The Cubs are the best week, so they're number 1, right, guys?
Hey, I actually respectfully went through the Braves quickly in some efficient process so I could reserve my Cubs strength for later. Don't incite it now in the second pick, Klemmer. You know the Cubs talk's fucking coming. They have won 8 in a row. I know they did just drop this one today to the Cardinals, but don't fuck with me, pal. Don't just bring in the Cubs because you know you're going to trigger something in the back of my head.
I mean, if that's what we're going to do, let's do that. It's not about just the last week. It's about not only the season that's happened, but also the seasons that's yet to come.
But what if the Rangers get swept by the Padres this weekend?
Right now.
They're about to get swept by the Padres. They're 3 innings away from getting swept by the Padres. They're playing bad baseball right now. They are not. They needed these trades. They needed to do these trades. They needed to do these trades to give themselves another shot in the arm to be like, all right, let's go. And that's because they're not playing good baseball right now. And to put them at 2, like just the sheer reaction from seeing that arrow go up on the Rangers will just incite a mob because it doesn't make any sense.
Why do you
I give a fuck about that. I don't care.
Yes, you do, because you're going to text the group chat later and say, who the fuck said this? Like, don't.
If it's a lie, if it's true, then say it. I'm saying I think the Rangers are the second best team in baseball. You can quote that. You can do whatever you want with that.
They're just not. They're just not.
And you cannot get on us for basing it on the last week of action when that's exactly what you fucking did last week with the Twins. The Twins are dog shit and they had one good week and you put them in these power rankings. You were talking about Bailey.
Chris.
Who? Dude, it's the Central.
You were talking
ninth. They had them like the 8th or 9th team. I'm not talking.
They just got. Didn't they get? Correct me if I'm wrong. They got swept by the Royals.
Yes.
What are we doing here, dude? By the way, I almost don't want to consider the state of Minnesota anymore. Like we have 49 states after what I saw.
All right, no, don't do that. Minnesota has a bunch of good people hubs.
Who do you have in second place then? If not the Rangers, then who?
I had the Orioles. The Orioles have been fucking fantastic for months. Yeah.
Grayson Rodriguez pitched effectively
out of his
the
mind.
other night.
Yes.
Guys, they're 2.5 games apart. You make it sound like the Orioles are the fucking Braves and the Rangers are like dog shit here. Like, let's pump the brakes
No,
a
I
little
didn't say that. I did say they're splitting hairs because I had Rangers at 3, so we're not that far off.
bit.
But
Yeah, but
All right, so then sell me on why the Rangers are 2 and not 3. I'm not even saying like the Rangers aren't a good team. Like we all respect the fucking shit out of the Rangers, but just for purposes of this, let's narrow this. Put it in a box. The Rangers are better than the Orioles, Klemmer. Why?
because they have an amazing pitching staff. Now Dane Dunning is going to go in the bullpen. That's incredible. And you look at that depth they have now.
Uvalde just went on the IL.
He will be back. It's a short-term thing.
It's a fucking forearm strain or elbow strain, so that's not a sure thing.
It seemed like a short-term thing when they said it. Now, if he's out,
you say that now.
Let me explain myself. If he's out long-term, then you're absolutely right, Hubs. That's a huge, huge knock, and that would make me reevaluate things. Yeah. If he's out for 10 days,
to know.
I think differently. Is that fair?
I hope so.
Yeah, and there.
Where do you guys have the Rangers then? You guys make it sound like I'm an insane person.
I was curious if trading for Scherzer would elevate the Rangers to 2 with anyone on this panel.
And Montgomery.
Jordan Montgomery is fine. If you are walking into an October series if Jordan Montgomery is within the first 7 names out of your mouth when you're telling me about your team in a playoff series, go pound sand, pal. We're not living in the same reality.
Carl, talk about the Orioles for a second then and not break. If Jordan Montgomery's on the Orioles, he's their fucking ace.
Austin Hayes. Adley Rushman. What? I'm just saying, like, all right, fine. Austin Hayes can't pitch. You're right. But I don't like it.
Jordan Montgomery would be the ace of the Orioles.
Here's what I'm saying.
No, he wouldn't, dude. Fuck you for that trash opinion. Fuck you for that trash opinion. Bradish and Wells have been way too good over the last 12 to 16 weeks.
I wouldn't say Wells, but yeah, Bradish is
Wells has not been that great over the last
He's not. He's Wells. I had something to say about Wells when we talked with the Orioles. I was saving that for then. The thing about Texas, right? Okay, you add Scherzer, you add Montgomery, right? Those are improvements to the rotation. Max Scherzer was having an absolutely average season for the New York Mets, and you should know that more than ever, Klemmer, because you went to all these games and you see him. He stunk against pretty much every good team out there this year. He didn't have one start when they needed a jolt. He shoved against the Nationals his last start. Good for him. There's legit his fastball numbers are worse and worse every year. He's having a career low year with almost all of his pitches across the board. While he is an improvement for the Texas Rangers rotation, no doubt about it, especially without Uvalde, it's a good move there. There is no guarantee he's their savior, and if you have him pitching in the playoffs, you're going to feel great about it because he hasn't looked that good this year. And Jordan Montgomery is an average pitcher. He's all right, we got Montgomery on the mound today. None of those guys are saviors. They're improvements, no doubt. But to me, those aren't trades that I'm like, now the Rangers got better with those trades. Like I said, they're improvements. But they're not like, damn, here come the Texas Rangers now. It's just like, all right, they needed to do those trades. Let's see if they work out. Let's see if they're able to tap into Scherzer and get back what he used to be, because right now that's not the same guy.
We're also forgetting Heim and Seager are out right now, too. Heim might be out for a long time. Heim had been fucking great this season. So that offense, which was so explosive throughout the season, some cracks in their armor, those are legitimate concerns.
Yeah. Seager's coming back. The Rangers are still number 1 in the American League in runs, average, on base, and slugging. You mix in 2 starting pitchers like Montgomery and Scherzer, that staff, like I say, if it's Evaldi's out for the season, I pump the brakes on that a little bit, a lot bit. But if he's not out for the season, and then you add those guys to an amazing lineup, the best lineup in baseball, that's pretty fucking good.
Do you not have concerns about how Scherzer looks just in general?
We're gonna let's do this. Let's do this because I have a Scherzer take because I think can package this. Scherzer has made, I believe, 15, 16 starts. He had a 10-game suspension at the end of April, so you can look at the beginning of April or beginning of the season into. The last 10 starts, I believe, have been since June 1st. He made 6 starts in June. He's made 4 starts in July. His home run rate is through the fucking roof this season. However, it comes in bunches. His bad games are awful. His game scores, he's got games out there that are 22, 27, 32, 33. he has a ton of games that are 60 and over, 65, 70, 68. So there's some encouraging things about Max Scherzer because some of his games from when I look at the data, if you go through the numbers, if you're one of those guys, Klemmer, the game scores will tell you there are times when he's very bad, but there's also times he's remarkable because to pitch at 25 is the same thing as to pitch at 75. You're 25 below, you're 25 up from the way they keep it. So
he just pitched 7 shutout innings against the Dodgers. Like, it's not like he's. I mean, look, I'm not saying he's the Max Scherzer we saw 10 years ago. He's probably not even the Max Scherzer we saw last year. No. But he's still an improvement for the Rangers. That's my point.
No doubt. I don't disagree with that. I'll say, you also threw in the Dodgers. Within the same month, he gave up 4 or more runs in 3 starts. And that's against the Diamondbacks, the Padres, and the Red Sox.
Are you talking about June?
Yeah, no, July. This is in July.
3 of 4 starts?
3 of his starts in July, he gave up 4 or more runs. There's a lot of numbers there. Sorry. I'm just saying, like, this isn't.
He got busted cheating. He got busted cheating.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that.
Come on, it's a bad joke. It's a light joke.
So we're going with Texas, and we're gonna do this whole thing. We're like,
if you guys disagree, we'll put the Orioles.
No, because here's what I'm interested in is do we want to wake up tomorrow with integrity? You know, when the Rangers get swept by the Padres today, Sunday, do I want to feel good about myself on Monday? Or do I want to ride with Chris Klemmer? Do I want to? It's like Castellani, you know, whatever fucking superhero movie, maybe a little Lord of the Rings, 2 Towers where it's just hopeless. They're riding into fucking Helm's Deep.
Comparison, Carl. This is good. This is a good comment.
No. Like, we're coming into Helm's Deep. We're all gonna die. Like, do I want to be? You're Klemmer without Gandalf coming at the last minute and the staff and all the white light. Am I fucking missing this? Like, basically, Klemmer, what I'm saying is I'm sacrificing myself if I want to hitch my wagon to the Rangers at 2 here. Go fuck yourself for not understanding the Lord of the Rings reference. That was clean enough.
No, it was good. I mean, like I say, it's a panel. If you guys all vote Orioles, then I lose.
Yeah, I vote Orioles. Yeah, I vote. I rarely veto. I gotta go. I gotta put Orioles here. Yeah.
I'm also gonna veto this and put the Orioles here too. And then I'm going to flip it back over to I would assume the Rangers are 3 here, though, Hubs. You're 3?
We'll give it. Yeah, I'm 3. Listen, I didn't have them as 3, but I don't know. We're going to do this whole song and dance again at every team. I just didn't like the way they looked this week. I know the state, they made the trades, all this. But I don't know if I want to go down that song. Like,
who do you have 3 then?
I really like what the Rays did this week. I like how they look. They got a nice shot in the arm. They are right on the Orioles' toes. They just are. They haven't gone away. I know I said 2 weeks ago there's a chance they could fall out of playoff contention. There still is. They're I think it's only 4 games separating that. But I like how they looked into Houston. They got blown out that one game, but they came out today. They could have after getting destroyed on Saturday. They could have easily just laid down. They showed up today. They won the series. They split with Miami earlier in the week. So that would be my campaign for the Rays here at 3. I just like how they look. And honestly, the Dodgers, you can make a case. The Dodgers, Rays, and Rangers, they all just are in this. You could interchange those guys. 3, 4, and 5 right now. I think the Orioles still are at 2, especially if they look good tonight in Sunday Night Baseball against the Yankees. Then, with Severino pitching, that's very possible. I don't know. I just think 3, 4, and 5 are so interchangeable. But I didn't like how the Dodgers looked this week. They lost both series to Toronto and Cincy, my Reds. So I'm going to go Rays 3. I don't like how Texas looked, man. I just don't. Listen, in a week they could the pieces they got could be like, wow, okay, Texas looks like they have new life here. Just don't like with the injuries they have right now. I don't think I can say that's the 3rd best team in baseball. I don't. If I'm wrong, if you guys want to veto me, I'm all for it because we just vetoed Klemmer's shit ass. So
no, I don't.
I'm not Rays 5.
I had Texas 5.
Do you have the Dodgers ahead of the Rays, Klemmer?
Yeah,
I did too. Yeah.
No, I'm not allowing the Dodgers to go 2-4 and lose a series to the Cincinnati Reds and come in here and give everybody the middle finger. We're not doing that. They are going to be ahead of the Reds in the rankings, but there's no way I'm going to just sit here and celebrate the Dodgers.
Oh, the Dodgers. Yeah.
We've been passionate, so The Rays against the Orioles right now, best of 7, neutral
Would
site.
be a
Who
great
wins?
series. Would be a great series.
Yeah.
Orioles home. Oh, no, don't tell me neutral site. Don't get that's enough.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like team to team, though, if you had to like best of 101 games, is there a team like I see a world where it's like 52-49, 51-50,
Here's the
53-48.
Baltimore doesn't fear Tampa. They just went into Tampa very recently and took it to them. Like, they don't fear Tampa. That is a young team that is, I think, special in my mind, just regardless how they looked on Saturday. I will say the thing about Baltimore. I don't even know what team we're talking about right now. Tyler Wells, I brought him up last week. This exact problem, his innings. We saw it Saturday night. It's getting to him. He doesn't even last 3 innings against the Yankees. His ERA is now it's approaching 4. He's just not going deep in the games. Last 3 starts, he hasn't finished the 5th inning. I don't even know why I'm talking about the Orioles right now
because we're trying to figure out the context of where these teams fit together.
Okay, all right, fine. So I'll continue. So Baltimore desperately, I think, needs to go after very hard for Justin Verlander here. I think they should be. It's them. Who's the other team? There's 2 teams in my head that I couldn't think of.
The Reds.
Reds.
No. The Reds should go get Verlander.
It popped into me as like that's a team. Did I write it down? Oh, the Rays. So. The Rays are the other team that should go after Justin Verlander because of how Taj Bradley looks.
Yeah.
And they need a shot in the arm here, especially if you're not sure if you can rely too much on Glasnow here. McClanahan has looked a little shaky. The Rays and Orioles should be in an arms race right now in the sweepstakes for Justin Verlander. Both teams that, don't really spend a whole lot of money, but they have the prospects arsenal to go after and get a Justin Verlander right now. They should be in an arms race right now for Verlander. Would help both teams. Both teams, I think, need starting pitcher.
Here's why the Rays should not be as high as Hubs might like them to be. It's Shane McClanahan. He's thrown 15 innings since coming off the DL or the IL. He's given up 10 runs. It's a 6 ERA. If he's not right, and then Taj Bradley's not right, like they're just not consistently very good, this Rays team doesn't impress me, and that's what their record has shown. You guys talking about the last week. The fucking Rays are like 30-34 the last 64 games.
They are.
Yeah.
It's dog shit. And like the idea that they are somehow better than the Rangers is just wild to me. Like I just don't see it that way at all.
Okay, I would be willing to say the Rangers are better than the Rays.
Yeah.
I am compelled, but it's not that like I'm compelled to veto the Rangers at 2. I don't know if I feel that same compulsion with the Rays at 3.
Fine.
However, now this is really nuanced. I do think the Rangers are better than the Rays. So in my brain, if it was like Rays after the Rangers, but we all agree that they're top, that they're in the top. I don't know.
I think 3, 4, and 5 between the Rangers, Rays, and Dodgers can be interchangeable, and you can make a good argument for every single team to be in each spot. That's and it's not an indictment, I think, on who's 3, who's 4 or 5. So I'm fine with a veto, and I'm fine if you want to put the Rangers at 3.
But how much do we value Eovaldi? If Eovaldi's full strength, then like, oh, he's fucking. So, Carlos, but if he's not pitching, then like we can make an argument.
That's where the Scherzer trade comes in big here. But now, if he's not gone so long term and he comes back in, let's say, a couple weeks, a month, even if it's September 1st, he's back, the Rangers will be okay. Those strains are tricky, man. Like it can seem simple right now, and then when you start to throw one rehab start, it doesn't get a lot better. You get a flare up. Who knows? I'm just saying 3, 4, and 5 interchangeable. I'm good with that. If you want the Rangers at 3, I was just more adamant that the Orioles are 2 over the Rangers.
Okay, so it's
all right,
to me.
So here's what we have. We have Braves 1.
Right.
Okay, we have Orioles 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have the. Do I have the Rangers? Rangers or the Rays? Rangers or Rays?
It was I am 3, so it ends up being. I've heard the arguments. I'll relent here and give you Rangers 3. That's fine. So who's
But if we go Rangers 3, Rays, I would have if someone tries to tell me Dodgers 4, we're going outside right now. We're having a little talk.
That's
We're not
fair.
doing that.
Yeah, Rays 4.
No, it's fine. If that's how we decide, like I have kind of this interchangeable too. Like
Yeah.
I'm fine with Rays 5, or Rays 4 and Dodgers 5.
Rays were my pick at 4, and I maybe we do admittedly at points take into account the most recent week, but you know what? Going on the road against Houston, winning 2 out of 3, you rallied late in game 1, you got a bit, a great effort by Jose Siri kind of created that run there, and then you come back today, you pop them. Every time I feel like things are completely going sideways for the Rays, they find a way to kind of bounce back, get their shit together. I think a week from now at this time, we could view them in a completely different standing because they've been very quiet so far with the deadline. I haven't heard their names attached to a whole lot of players. So whereas you see a lot of teams are going to add, I agree with you, Hubs, on the idea of them making a push for Verlander, but they're not going to. Unless the Mets are going to eat a heavy majority of that contract, they're just not going to do it, I don't think. I don't recall a single time in which the Rays made a move for a player at the deadline where they were going to have to pay him X amount of money. I just don't think it's part of their philosophy. Now, we're talking about the future. In the present, as bad as the last month has been, this is still a team that is well within striking distance of catching Baltimore. I mean, like as much as I love Baltimore, and we all do, they're still 2 games back. I mean, this is they could easily catch them, and I do. Part of me, the thing you brought up about Wells, I think is a fair point as well. I worry kind of about lack of experience and even some injuries there with some of those young players. So like they're still in position to potentially make a run at this division. They still had a wonderful season. I have my doubts on them long term, but for the time being, considering the way they played against Houston this week, I think they belong in that 4th spot.
Here's why they will be in for Verlander. The Mets just proved that they're willing to eat money to get back a high prospect.
True.
So it almost seems like a match made in heaven. Like the Rays got prospects to deal. They always do. They shit out prospects, really good ones. That's an ideal trade partner, I think, for Steve Cohen. He will eat that. He will eat half the money, whatever it is. He doesn't care about any luxury tax at this point, and he will get back and that'll be his way of retooling and getting something in this farm system. So it actually makes sense.
Let me say this, Hubs. If we're serious about Baltimore or Tampa going and getting someone like Verlander, you got to remember he's signed for $43 million next year. Right. It's a $35 million player option after that. We're talking, so what's that, 78 plus what he was owed this year? It's $100 million that is owed to him. Even if Cohen ate half.
Yeah, it's still a lot.
I don't see the Rays or the Orioles come up with $50 million over the next 3 years. So you're asking Cohen to eat 75% of that. And I don't know if you do that, then I hope the Rays have a whole shitload of prospects. I know they do, but I think it would cost a lot as opposed to maybe if, I don't know, I'm just throwing names out there, like say the Diamondbacks or someone maybe who has, not that they have deep pockets, but or the Dodgers who have deep pockets. Then maybe the deal there is easier. I will say, though, just hearing Verlander talk after this game.
He's done.
He's done. He seems like, and even, so I was at the game, he leaves the mound, gets a standing ovation. He did the hat, like not a full hat tip, but a little hat thing. Like you could see in his face, he knew, like that's the last time.
He gave the most trade me please without saying trade me please press conference after the game I've ever seen. He even there was one moment, I think 30 seconds into the clip that's going viral where he laughs. And it's just he is so checked out of here. He was not happy with Scherzer being traded. He did not sign up for any of this. He wants to be gone. One quick thing on the Rays. I brought him up before. Isaac Paredes. He has 40 homers since he's been a Ray. Austin Meadows has played 42 games in that span.
He's hit 0. Yeah. And I don't think he's ever going to play another game. I don't think he's ever going to play another game as a Tiger. I don't think he's going to.
That's remarkable stuff. Klemmer, can you real quick tell me who we have 1 through 4 before I make the 5th pick?
I can. We have Braves at number 1. We have, sadly, the Orioles at number 2. That's a stupid decision made by some real morons in the room. Number 3, we have the Rangers. And 4, I believe, we have the Rays.
Yeah, we got Tampa.
All right. I could take there's some chalky chalk here at 5 here, guys. There's some real chalky chalk here. And I do want to take it. I don't want to take it.
You got to do it.
Do you want me to take You want me to throw I got to throw the Dodgers
Yeah,
here. But
yeah.
I'm not disrespecting
there's a
Mookie
difference.
Betts and Freddie Freeman after a bad week or any of this stuff. This is a good reminder for baseball fans. When you look at the roster, they have unbelievable production at the catching position, which you don't get, right?
No.
They've got They have the two best position player combo, or I should say the best position player combo between Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Obviously, questions with the pitching staff, but I'm not fucking throwing the Dodgers outside the top
No.
five because they lost a series to the Reds. I just want to respect the NL Central at the end of the show when it comes time, which hopefully we're moving through quickly. We like the Dodgers. Everything we've said about the Dodgers before holds true today, and I can say comfortably the fucking smallest percentage of fans listening to this show, by far, bar none, are LA Dodgers fans. We are moving on to pick 6.
Yep, let's do it.
That goes to me, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Astros here. This is a pretty, we said how like 3 through 5 was interchangeable. I almost think the Astros could be interchangeable too with some of these teams.
Almost got there with the Dodgers. I thought when you guys were like, "Oh, we know who it is," I was like, "Is someone fucking with me about the Astros creeping in here?" That's how close they are, Klemmer.
The reason I have the Astros below the Dodgers is because the Dodgers have a 2.5 game lead in the division. Like that speaks volumes to me, especially this late in the year. The Astros are still chasing the Rangers, who, like I said, I do believe in. But the Astros got Altuve back this week and Yordan back this week. I think that's just huge. I mean, that if those guys can be healthy the rest of the way here, then the Dodgers suddenly look a lot more fierce. Now, they have that. They've had some hitting issues this season. There's been offensive problems. But if you're talking about getting some of these guys back just in time, too, you figure like right into August, like let's go. I don't know. The Astros are a scary team anyway, and they got 2 huge guys back this week. I like them at 6.
There's a jarring reaction when you go to check the box score of the Astros games now, and you see they're top of the order. It's just like, fuck. Yeah, they were struggling for a little bit here. They didn't look like the same old Astros. You know that they're about to get on a little bit of a roll here, and they will go into October as a fearsome team. Like those guys back in the fold, scary, scary, scary.
See, this is the best argument for me that the Rangers shouldn't be too. Is because the Astros are right there nipping at their heels, and the Astros are so scary.
Seager's out. They're not hot. I think both teams full strength now with these rosters head to head. Both teams full strength. Eovaldi and Scherzer full strength. Valdez full strength and Yordan Alvarez full strength. This is a lot fucking closer, man. I actually think the Rangers might have I like the Rangers. Don't use the Astros right now to talk me off the Rangers here.
No. He's saying like we have it right. The Rangers should be ahead of Houston. Like that's.
Oh, I know. I just feel like I defended the Rangers and failed miserably 10 minutes ago.
I think it's going to be a very, very, very fun race to see who wins this division. Like this is going to be very, very tight the rest of the way. With Max and Jordan coming on into the fold here, Houston getting the full strength. This is going to be very fun. And Houston probably isn't done at the deadline here.
No, I think
one more guy.
I think they're really trying to go for a kill shot. I don't know. It looks like the potential of getting Verlander back is kind of falling through, but they're gonna. These are 2 teams that their number one goal, unlike some other teams, is not to make the playoffs. They know the importance of winning that division. I've said it before. This American League West race is like the parallels between the NL East from last year are there, where you have the team that's going out spending a ton of money that hasn't been there in a minute, going up against the defending champs. It's a really exciting race, and I agree with you. I don't think Houston's done yet either.
I think they're one move left. It seems like they put out a quote yesterday or today how they're really not looking at starting pitching, so that takes them off Verlander. They could be very in on Bednar. And that they added Gray. Like I feel like Bednar would be like, that sucks. Like for the rest of the league to see that. So I would.
Who I was hoping they'd go after? It's not going to happen. They took him off the market. But Bellinger, I think, would have been an interesting fit in Houston. Yeah. Another outfield bat. I think that could have been.
When you say this is what it's interesting to me. When the Cubs say they take someone off the market, you guys outside see that and you're like, oh, they took him off the market.
Right.
No, I mean
it's crazy, dude. This guy was raised by Theo. What is with fan bases and public reaction and stuff? Because when the Cardinals were like, yeah, we're fucking selling. Now it's like, no, Nolan's not getting traded. When a general manager says anything, who gives a fuck? But you bring up Bellinger. You bring up Bellinger is a good point.
I
He
meant it
would
more
fit
like
well. More as a fit. More of a
8
fit.
of the last 9 too. I mean, they've played themselves back in the race.
For that exact reason, Carl, when the Angels said they weren't trading Ohtani, when Verducci came out with that, I didn't buy it. But then when they added, when they added Giolito, I was like, oh, okay, they actually told the truth. But like, I didn't believe that Verducci report for a second. That just means, hey, up everyone's offer. Like, we're not seeing enough here. Then I agree with you, Carl, especially because the Cubs haven't really beaten the best teams here to get this hot streak. I'm not so sure. I don't think the Cubs front. I mean, you know the front office better than me, but I think if they get a pretty big offer of Bellinger or Stroman, they would say yes to it.
I think they're disappointed they can't trade Bellinger right now without public discourse.
Yes.
Anybody with a fucking brain would trade Cody Bellinger. Now Marcus Stroman's a little different because he's got an option next year. He's only making $23 million, and he hasn't been great the last couple weeks, so his value's down. Is he more attractive in the winter? These are great questions to consider, but the idea of Cody Bellinger, are we saying him to Houston, or I know that our top 6 now includes Houston at 6 as we get to the 7th pick. Someone jog my memory how Cody Bellinger got in here because I just got a little trippy.
Oh, it was just like we thought maybe that would be a target for Houston to add at the deadline.
Perfect.
But
please, by all means, and give us whatever the fuck you got. That's great. Any Cubs fan that's sitting here holding on to this, like, the Braves will steamroll us.
Yeah.
In a second, like the
Right.
Dodgers would massacre it. So, from the perspective of not taking long-term value for the next 2 months to just go home at the end of the day the same way we have forever is insane. Let's get to the 7th pick. Who's got it?
7 is me.
Yep.
This pains me to say, and there might be a certain podcast that follows this show that will give me some grief after this, but Toronto Blue Jays are here. Toronto Blue Jays are at 7. They took both series this week against the LA teams. It was fascinating to watch them play the Angels this week. The Angels, this was like a big series for the Angels, obviously coming off beating the Tigers. Hey, how real are we? They start the series 0 for 27 with runners in scoring position. They actually don't get that first hit until Renfroe's extra innings home run today. That avoided the sweep, but the Blue Jays look very good. They're starting pitching. Sans Manoa, he still doesn't look good. He barely got through 4 1/3. He labors, whatever. Gosman, good. Kikuchi, good. I don't know the latest update with Ryu, but if he's coming back, that's all the better. They trade today for Jordan Hicks the day after losing Romano. That's a nice little move there to be like, hey, we are fully aware, like Romano is out here. Let's go sure this up. And maybe they get one more piece. But I like how they look here. They are, let me see the latest update here in the wildcard standings. They're the 3rd team. They hold a couple game lead over Boston and New York. They play Boston this upcoming week to start. That is a massive. I'm sorry, that is incorrect. They play Baltimore then Boston. This is a very big week.
Stretch.
Wow, that's a big week.
That's an awesome week of programming.
Yep, and they have. Oh wow, okay. I just answered my own question. Ryu is pitching Tuesday.
Oh wow! So, what a big week for Toronto.
Let's fucking go Blue Jays! And I think this panel wants to see the Blue Jays here, right? Like we love that roster. We like this, but we like that. We like the roster. We just like the brand. Like No.
I despise everything about the Toronto Blue Jays and how they're like the fakest team every year, and they think.
And Klemmer, you agree with this? You hate them?
No, not at all. I think the Blue Jays are a really interesting team. I like them probably too much. Like Hubs and I, since I started over a year ago at Barstool, we've been fighting back and forth. I think the Blue Jays are a very talented team. Hubs is always pushing back at me, saying, no, they're a fake team. He's been proven right, the 13 months I've been at Barstool, but we have discussion back and forth. I don't understand how the Blue Jays aren't better. I hold them at 7 here. This is as easy as the Braves at 1 for me.
But that's the thing, though, right? Klemmer, to your point, clearly the 7th team here and on the rise. Like the arrow's trending up.
Right.
But with this upcoming week here with Baltimore and Boston, it spells so perfectly for them to stumble, right?
Or the other way, though.
Right, but I'm saying if they're different, right, then they go 5-2 this week. Right. But if it's the same old Toronto here that just can't seem to stay on the tracks, you see a 3-4 week here and maybe those both series. So let's see what you got, Toronto. This is a very big week for you.
It's I'm with you. I agree with everything.
You know what?
you said.
I value the fact you hate the brand in the ranking more, and I also love Klemmer's points that he's as confident in the Braves 1 as he is at the Blue Jays 7. I have no listen. I want the Blue Jays at 9 based on the talent in the roster. Who has 8?
I do.
Okay, so this is where I think things can and I want to remind guys, we've had a great show. I don't want people I feel like things could get ugly. We've already had a couple ugly spots here, but I feel like things could get really ugly here, 8-9.
Yeah, I mean, I essentially have a tie, but I'm not doing that pussy shit. So my number 8 is the Cincinnati Reds. The Cincinnati Reds had a fucking awesome week. And the thing is, here's the thing, Klemmer, and because I actually have, as much as we go back and forth, I have agreed with you a million times over about the issues that plague the starting pitching staff. But in this week, they're going to add, right? Okay, well, who knows what the future?
Do we know that?
I'm scared that I don't know what they're going to do.
They're not going to add, dude. They're not.
You really don't think they're going to add a starting pitcher?
Nope. There's not much of a market.
They're not going to trade Jonathan India until the offseason.
Right.
Maybe Jack Flaherty. So I don't what do we talk? Who do you think they're gonna add?
Yeah. Well, no, but here's the point I was trying to make. Even if they don't add, Andrew Abbott is fucking great, dude. I mean, that guy just slings it. Okay, and I know your boy. I know he was awful for a minute. Graham Ashcraft the last month plus has been really good. Now, is he a number 1 in a rotation? No, but yeah, Carl's talked about him before. But the last month or so, he's been really solid. I know it's a lot to put on Hunter Green, right? But you get him back and he's stable with that offense being what it is. There's a lot of skepticism, and so much of Klemmer's skepticism is justified. I understand it, but I don't know. I think they're in a good spot.
I like the pick for a couple of reasons. Technically, I do like the pick. We've been blowing the Reds for a long time, and I say that colloquially. Taking a serious on the Dodgers is nice. Yeah. This is one of these situations we come back next week, though, we could be like, you know what? Right. Fuck the Reds, bury them, burn them, never want to see them again. That's why we put them in the pitchfork team. If they don't make a trade to get better, they suck.
Right. Similar to Toronto, very big week for them. They got a 4-game set in Chicago coming up here. So this is we'll see what the Cubs are made of. We'll see what the Reds are made of here. But so Klemmer, we talked about this last week, right? And what do the Reds? You mentioned okay, this is a big week for the Reds. I will hop on board here if they show me. They went 3-3. It's kind of just right? Not a great week, not a bad week. And to finish it, winning in LA is impressive. They did lose the series to Milwaukee. I felt they were in every game. I felt I was watching 2 even teams play when I watched that series. And Milwaukee had the upper hand. They got the upper hand. They came in with the series. I like how the Reds bounced back here. I don't know if I had them at 8, probably 9. But I'm not going to argue it. I believe they are currently in first place at the moment. So I know that means a lot to Klemmer with the standings, with grading teams. Yeah, he has them as the 27th best team in baseball. So no arguing Klemmer here, obviously.
I mean, I don't even have. So I'll say I have the Phillies 8 at the Cubs 9. The Cubs are better than the Reds. I know you guys don't want to believe this for a reason, but the Cubs are a better team than the Cincinnati Reds. I will die. I mean, unless they.
I'm interested in this, and I think he's not wrong. But
I'm not wrong. I know the Cubs are better than the Reds. They have more talent. That pitching staff is very good. That team is very good.
I think they have more experience in the lineup. I think they have a better, I look at Nico Horner, Dansby Swanson, Seiya Suzuki, and Ian Happ and Cody Bellinger right now, even though they should trade his ass. And I'm like, you know what? That's a fucking solid group of 28, 29, 30-year-old guys. That's where I would say, all right, fine. If they want to go out and play the Reds, the Reds are all these young, which has been a positive thing for a little bit here. But if you go into October, I would take the Cubs 4 to 5 guys. The problem I have is Ellie De La Cruz is so fucking good, man. Matt McClain's good. The Cubs don't have star power. It's such a beautiful.
No.
Don't.
Okay. He's 45. I mean, I don't know what you guys want.
He's explosive, and they brought him up at the right time, and they're deploying him accurately.
Here's my problem with the Cubs, man. This
No,
whole
they're
stretch
9. Don't you take them off a 9.
No, I'm not. I'm arguing Reds versus them.
You know,
This stretch they had is they just beat up on the Cardinals, who have completely given up. Like
Right.
that's
Thank you.
all this was, and the White Sox, another team that's completely given up. Listen, you got to beat the teams in front of you, but it's nothing that's like jumped off the page to you and be like, I believe in the Cubs here. Listen, they beat the Reds. They take 3 or 4 against the Reds to start this week. I'm on your side, but I can't buy into a team that's beaten up on 2 teams that have completely given up on their seasons here in July. I
you
can't.
want a fun exercise? Compare Chris Morel's stats with Ellie De La Cruz's stats. You're going to walk away very either surprised or disgusted.
No, I know, because Christopher Morel's done well this year. He's
No,
I think
and
he's got
Elliot
14,
Cruz
15, 16 home runs. He's got a 550 slugging percentage. He's outstanding. He can't play in the field. He can't be a DH. He can't play second base. He can't play left field right now. He'll never play center field. He'll never play right field. He'll never play third base. Like, it's not a question of whether or not he can do damage in a lineup, just a fit, purely from a fit standpoint. But I do love him, and I hope teams and organizations can find more Morels, because he's one of these guys that just came up last year towards the end of the season, fucking smoked it, and hasn't stopped since.
Can I give you guys some stats real quick? Here's the second half for Ellie De La Cruz. He's played 15 games since the All-Star break. He's batting 123.
Yeah, 123.
His on-base is 194. His slugging is 281. And you're telling me he's the reason the Reds are
No.
But he's definitely brought energy to that team, no doubt. His insertion, and listen, stats can't buy that, but his insertion, his excitement has definitely given the Reds a little bit of a boost. You can't argue that.
Yeah, we didn't. Our number 8.
I have no way to prove energy. What are we doing here?
Right, you sound like a nerd who is stuck in the Yankees analytical department, who I despise. That's who you sound like.
And why do we have to prove it? Why do I have to prove? Why do I have to prove?
I mean, what the fuck? It's like the same morons that said Craig Counsell was the best player in the 0-1 Diamondbacks because he had energy. No, he wasn't. It was Craig Johnson for chilling.
It was actually Luis Gonzalez if you looked at the fucking wins above replacement. No, that's a joke. That's a joke. But there's no – why do I have to prove it? Why can't I just talk about it passionately is something I find to be the difference maker. Like if I served you a beautiful piece of key lime pie and you told me it's the sweet tart that really fucking drives it home, but Castellani was sitting here and going, it's the way he balances the crunch and the texture – who's to say one person is right over the other over a reason why they like a fucking baseball team right now?
Because I know for a fact that a 123 batting average sucks, and there's no way around it. It's not key lime pie. It's a fact. It's an inarguable fact.
You also said the Twins were the number 9 team in baseball last week, and they won one.
So now they're 11th. Like that's not that.
Oh no! I don't even want to consider the Twins a baseball team after this week. I don't consider the Twins a baseball team anymore.
Who is the 8th team? The Reds?
8. I think we're universal. Well, we're not universal, but I think 8 Reds, 9 Cubs feels right.
So the Phillies, even though they're more talented than the Reds, they're just.
Oh, does talent win you a spot on my weekly fucking rankings? It doesn't win it on any of ours.
Phillies just lost a series to the Pirates. I don't feel good about the Phillies right now.
Are we just forgetting the Brewers exist? I know they got swept by the.
Brewers just got swept, dude. They just got swept.
But they're better than the fucking Cubs.
No, they're not.
The Cubs have won 8 in a row and look hot as hell, dude. Now they're talking about not selling.
Right, which is a dumb move because they're 500.
I actually would say
I
would
have a
nominate
60 run. They have the 4th best run differential in baseball. No, in the National League. In the 6th best in baseball.
Cool.
The best, your Brewers are minus 14. The Reds are plus. I mean, the Cubs are plus 57.
I would argue for 9, and I hate bringing this up more than anything in the world.
The Red Sox.
Oh, get the
Boston swept Atlanta, and let's see what they're. I mean, it's literally extra innings right now against the Giants, but
no, winning 2 in a row is not a sweep. 2 in a row is not a sweep.
It was an impressive. They looked good in those 2 games. They've played good. They played good baseball of late. They just have. I know they lost a series to Oakland. This kills me to say, but I don't hate how they're playing. And you can make an argument like they're the number 9 team. I probably wouldn't because it hurts me to do it, and I like how the Cubs look right now. But you can make it. You can make it. I don't know what's going to happen in this series against the Giants right now. They're in extra innings, but they're playing good baseball right now.
I can't believe you guys have the Reds ahead of the Cubs. I'm apoplectic, but
I-
whatever.
but-
you guys just love the Reds so much. I can't wait for them to fucking miss the playoffs. I'm gonna laugh in all your faces.
If they could.
I never knew that like an 8 versus a 9 in our power rankings would like get you this mad, Klemmer. Like we're only just saying. I'm not saying like the Reds should own the Cubs, like that Tom Ricketts should just give the team away now. It's just like right now at this point in time, the Cubs have won a lot. They look really good. There's a lot of excitement here. They're still 53 and 52 with questions and like no first baseman in a league that has proved itself. Like if anything anybody can do right now, it's like go find somebody to play first base.
Yeah, I mean,
They can't do it.
No, like I said, it's same thing with the Rangers thing. I mean, it's fine. I'm on a different plane, I guess. It's fine.
Man, this is the power ranking panel. This is it. This is fucking it. Are we sure about this? Cubs 9 or what?
Let's roll with Cubs 9. You know what? I'm excited to see the reaction.
If you guys are still held in on Reds 8, I'm begging you at least you gotta throw the Cubs 9 then, I guess.
Sure.
That's fine. That's fine. And they play each other this week
every week by us.
Who gets fucked every week?
The Phillies.
Don't lose a series of the Pirates. Make me believe in you a little bit. I don't know.
I'm with you. I'm just not that crazy about the Phillies this year. Right now, I don't.
I go off because I do see the pieces they have.
Yeah.
And what they're capable of, and like last year they're kind of in the same boat, and then they just took off, and they had the people. They definitely have the players. But I'm not. I don't know. Let's Cubs Reds being 8-9, and then they play each other this week for 4 games. Someone's going to be very wrong unless it's a split, and they'll be very boring. But hopefully someone's very wrong and someone's very right, and so let's go with that.
Yeah.
Reds 8, Cubs 9.
By the way, Red Sox have the Mariners and Blue Jays this week.
Big week.
I think, like Tom's point, as much as I was like, get the fuck out of here, the Red Sox are playing well. If they have a big week this week, that's a team you could see on this list next week. I'm not ready to put them there yet.
Yeah, people call me a homer. Like, I don't think anyone was going to bring up the Red Sox here, so I feel like I just see what they're doing. Fair. Yoshida's been great. Justin Turner, fucking get out of here.
38 years old. How does he do it?
Tristan Casas has gone from one of the worst hitters in baseball to, I think in the last month or so, right behind Ohtani with offensive numbers here.
He's batting 500 since the break. Something crazy.
I mean, he's a giant man. So hey, if he puts the bat on the ball goes very far. He's looked very good. The Red Sox are definitely on my radar, no doubt.
Well, there you guys go. If you've been a Red Sox fan, you've listened all year. You guys finally got your first sincere taste of authentic analysis. I'm not going to recap the 1 through 9. I don't have time to do it. This is the Barstool Baseball Power Ranking Panel. It is Monday. We will be back tomorrow for trade deadline coverage starting effectively 3:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm just giving myself a 10-minute buffer for the fucking stream. So tune in at 3:50. We'll be covering everything. It'll be me, Klemmer, then joined by Castellani and Hubs. Until next time, everybody tune in, subscribe to YouTube. Thank you guys. These are the Power Rankings. We'll be back tomorrow.